What I've asked you today for is to occur to me. So, how do people become cannibals? Why would you become a cannibal? It's not something that's in society's norm.
Well, I don't know if it's a question of why people would be. It's why wouldn't they? I mean, you look back at the origins of man. We go to the jungles and we find tribes that are older than any civilization we have today, and they're still cannibals. They're still eating human flesh. And I'm a firm believer that we are still the animal inside, the manimal, the beast. And I think if you go to any playground around the country, you'll find kids looking at the first shoots of cannibalism. And you see kids hanging around the playground, and they're generally either biting their nails or picking. I know that's technically not cannibalism, eating crows like, but they're eating a part of the body flesh. They're eating the nails, they're eating the fingernails, they're eating the was it cuticles down the side. They're having a good chomp on all that. And this is like the breeding ground. They're basically what's the word, like kindergarten for flesh eaters. And
kindergarten for cannibals. Is this what
indeed, I need to get the word out on the street, which is where all our flesh and blood is, where all our,
So you're trying to.
I'm
are
not
you part
about,
of this Jimmy Savile investigation?
Oh no, I mean, if he ate children, I don't think he was in the sense that I intended. We don't really eat kids. We want them to be a bit more grown, a bit more fleshy. They've got to get to a legal age of like 16 to 18 and prove that they're not going to be, a bonus to society. We don't want to be chomping on the next Beethoven or Gary Lineker or that kind of, superstar elements. We want to be eating the people who are just going to be filling the prisons and scaring old ladies. We want to get them off the streets and get them on the plates. Get them at.
This isn't anything to do with your Terry's Obese Olympics campaign, is it?
No, because
it sounds very close to me that they're the very people that you would turn into dinner.
As I've delved more into cannibalism, I've noticed that the obese people, it's like eating, you go and eat like nowadays, everywhere's got a lean choice or like a Sunday roast without any meat in it, basically, because everything's bad for you. And they cut the rinds off, and, we don't want to be giving big fat bloaters, like portions, that they would have eaten in the past. Because they're just eating the fat, and there's no point us carrying on eating, you know what I'm saying? I know you're laughing, but, this is serious. I'm thinking about people's health here. This is like the future.
So you're telling me that in your restaurants you don't serve up fat people as
No.
as fair?
No, we don't. We generally, the fat wasters, I mean, the obese ones, I mean, if they come into the obese Olympics, like I was saying to our Terry, sorry.
Yeah.
I get confused sometimes because we look alike. The problem was that some of them who entered the obese Olympics, they were that crap that they couldn't even do anything in that. So we take them away. I thought, well, we can't eat them. So what we do is we put them onto. Have you heard of Grunard Island, off the coast of Scotland?
No.
Well, I've bought a little encampment there. It used to be in the 60s. It used to be called Anthrax Island because they used to test anthrax on, general wildlife and Scottish prisoners. So what we do is we put them on there and we give them basic living, sort of like a tent and a bit of camp wood and one of them gas lighters, and see what happens. I mean, what the idea is that they're out there in the wilderness and it's like sink or swim. I mean, most of them are just float, but after a couple of months, the weight's dropping off them, so they become prime targets for our plates.
So they're living off the land, basically.
Well, they're living off the land, but what I've noticed, the interesting thing is, when you put fat people in isolation together, when they've slimmed down, the greed comes out, and some of them actually just turn into cannibals overnight. Because obviously overnight it's easier to creep in someone's tent, cut the throat, and, have a good slosh on the blood, and that's when it starts to think, I'll just nick his neck and have a little slurp of blood, because I'm thirsty, because they're lazy, basically. It's easier doing that than running down to the coast, getting a pan of water, boiling all the salt out of it, and having a drink. But no, because we don't give them pans. So basically,
the Maasai do that with their cows. So you basically say we should herd fat people on islands and let them bleed each other to feed.
Yeah, man. We should be having we should be farming. We should be getting the people off the cows to say, if you've got more than 7 kids and you're on benefits, You and the bairns should be shipped off and put in one of these massive, what do you want to call it? I don't know.
So you're obviously.
Well, there's too many people, there's too many stupid people, there's too many bad people. And I know people are looking like, the linear brought up with the English education system will look at them. Well, how can he talk about bad people when he's talking about cannibalism and human flesh? And it's like, well, are some of these people human? The ones with dieting on, the ones with... We're not just going out and grabbing some, oh, she's a nice looking tart, let's get her home and do stuff. I mean, in the early days we were just experimenting. And now there's more of a, I'd say, I don't know, there's more of an agenda behind it. Usually an agenda and usually a big stout table, because there's quite a lot of blood that comes out of them, even when you try not, sometimes you think, well, just go get a leg off this one because there's like a big order coming through. And some of that uninitiated, I wouldn't say, chefs, boners, I don't mean erections, they just do the boning and splicing. Sometimes I go straight through the femoral artery and they spray on this. And I've got to get someone in to paint the ceiling. And if you do this again, you're going to start making me think you're one of those dicks that you're going to be the next on the table, mate. So, they learn quick.
So it's like an abattoir for humans.
Aye. It is actually a converted abattoir. And we actually play ABBA over the speakers in the background. Which, I know people might think it's a bit student, a bit weird, but like... I've noticed that the Swedish 70s pop influence makes people work better, and the fact that most of them are blind, they don't actually know what they're carving up.
We're doing blind. Well, hang on, what's that?
Well, we get people in who are blind, obviously with like sharp knives and that. We don't tell the benefits here. Just say, oh, we've got this job for these blind people. Just say it's administration. Like braille testers or something. So they come up and we sort of tell them, like, feel this and feel that. This is a flank of a Peruvian ox. And they don't know the difference, do they? I mean, if you shut your eyes and I said, feel me leg, and does this feel like a Peruvian ox? You'd be like, I don't know what a Peruvian ox feels like. And I'd say, it feels like my fucking leg, doesn't it? So straight away, you'd be like, oh, fair enough. And they get 100 quid a week and stuff like that. Not exploiting them.
So they're boning your stuff down to the...
Well, yeah, no, they
all by feel.
Yeah, totally. And I found that by feel, you don't just get some, well, I don't know what you'd call them, butchers basically. They come in and they just chop stuff up with gay abandon. Not so much gay abandon, like, homophobic abandon sometimes. And they are literally butchers. It's disgraceful. So we found the blind people, they take care and does that one look right? And sometimes you can't, he's took his end of his finger off. And you want to go, that happens. That's part of the... that's my main braille finger, that. What am I going to do? I said, I will stitch it back on, don't worry about it. And then obviously he's had a bit of a palaver. So we found that instead of just going for the totally blind, we get people with cataracts. Because they can still see shape and form, and they know where their own fingers are, which is always a bonus. Is that these people have been, organised via the internet for a while, and we've been talking, and a few of them have got their own small holdings, but they take Viagra, so there's no problem there. But a few of them have got like restaurants, country pubs, and that, and people come in and they go, they can put on, you go in a local like Wetherspoons and stuff, and it's like beef, lamb, chicken. You go in a country pub and they go, oh yeah, it's escalope of, escalope of what, locally sourced veal, and people are like, what is that? Looks a bit like someone's kidney. Oh, that must be locally sourced veal, right. And they took in and they love it, so people are going away. They're not bothered. They've had meat, you know what I mean? It's, they're growing DNA stem cells now to make burgers, aren't they? Yeah. So what's the difference between that and somebody's kidney? Who knows?
Because that somebody had to be killed.
Well, sometimes, that's the way it goes. Sometimes
you're okay with killing people off. I mean...
Look, you've got to sort of emotionally remove yourself from this.
No, I mean, this is murder.
No, it's not murder. It's quite easy once you get into it. You know what I mean? You get a decent team. You learn to cut out the the struggling and everything. I've got a bottle full of stuff there. One or two needles of that in your neck, and believe me, you ain't watching Coronation Street that night. You ain't doing nothing, mate. So we take the people.
Hang on, what's in that then?
Oh, I don't know. I'd let you hold it, but as I've told you in the past, that I've got like the special coating on my hands, which you don't want to get your tongue near them. As we've said, that is it's a mixture of all sorts. There's
Well, is that what you got smeared on your palms?
Oh yeah, well there's a yeah, it's like a derivative of this. It's
What, so
got
if I shook hands with you,
oh yeah, yeah, the last person you shook hands with. Let's be straight about it. Yeah, I mean, you know, you could use your other hand. I don't know what for, like, but yeah, it's not to be messed with. But you know, we've been trying and testing this for years.
so you shake hands with people, they drop dead, you get them in the back of the van and take them off.
Ah, you know the guy who was going around London, the Russian spy guy who was umbrella jabbing people in the leg with similar to this, except this was like it had. It was a bit stupid, really, because he had vodka in it in his concoction. Which sort of, you know, straight away, oh, he's obviously Russian, he's obviously a Russian spy, vodka. So what I do, I put a bit of brandy in this, and then people are looking for like a French sort of serial killer type, even though it's not serial killing at the time. It's more like serial culling, because I don't think we're actually ridding society of anybody that's going to make any great shakes over the...
So you're comparing this to this badger call?
Well, yeah. And some of the people that, you know, all they've done is badger other people out of their lives. So we just come along, cull them, and then cook them. It's simple.
Cull and cook?
Yeah, cull and cook.
So that's why your website's called Cull and Cook?
Well, it is now. I've got my fingers in a lot of pies at the moment, which is incidentally why I'm barred from Greg's. But I'm sort of seeing what comes around, you know, and when they do come around, I just hit them with a mallet again. And away we go. You know, I've been honing this juice for 2 years, and sometimes you still get it wrong. I say, especially taking down the big heifers, you've got to give them a good couple of jabs. Like, you know, that's life. Well, that's the end of their life, but you know.
And I believe you're talking about doing a lecture tour in the early part of next year.
Well, I was thinking of going down to around the universities, especially people doing food technology, which. You know, it'd be interesting. But when I've told them the content of my material, they've kind of they've not been as keen as they were initially, so we say. So I'm thinking of maybe doing. I'll start off with a tour of kebab shops around the northeast over the next few months, just generally turning up like this with a few choice mates of mine and a couple of transit vans. Have a chat with people, see what happens. You never know, we might pick up a few punters, a few followers, and. A few tasty morsels as they, you know.
So is this a political wing of this, or is it just very...
Well, there's a few people I'm in contact with who are looking at, you know, we're talking about the politics. There's a few politicians emerging recently who are undesirable to the point that we'd like to, you know, just to put a little bit of a scaremongering in the Houses of Parliament, and just take a few of them and basically serve them to each other. And
what?
Well, we call them government cuts, and it'd be like, you know, cuts of whatever we want to do. And we got a couple of people implanted who work in the kitchens of the Houses of Parliament. So you know, they'll be serving up, you know, Labour guys' intestines to you know, the whips or whatever they are. I might even make Tory whip. I don't know. I'd go with the schoolgirl crushes we were going to do. But you know, obviously blood and strawberries is kind of close. Doesn't taste exactly the same. You got to, you know, there's quite a lot of sugar in the blood. You've got to tone it down for the sort of strawberry person, because everybody wants something that tastes like something they already know. So excellent. You know, we're only catering for what people want, even though if they don't know if they do want it.
So that's your plans then, is to move into catering at the Houses of Parliament? Well,
we've already got a contact in there.
So people are already eating flesh in the House of Parliament.
Well,
they don't know it.
They are. They don't quite know. I don't quite know, because it's a bit hush hush, and then they all start murmuring again. But I don't quite know what, you know. His feedback isn't really too good for me. I think I think he needs a bit of a talking to himself.
No.
So if you see me down around Parliament, like, you know, pretends to be a sightseer or something, I may be on covert surveillance.
So that's not...
Or I might be on top of one of those buses.
It's not why you're going down to London tomorrow, is it?
It might be, I wouldn't like to say. Who knows? Who can tell? Thank you.